Dreams of stars, now a faint refrain. Coffee brews and thoughts collide in this early morning ride. Wake up world, let's start the day. Insight flows in a bright array. Questions dance like morning dew. In this space, it's me and you. Coffee chats with Melissa. Every cup is a whisper. Conversations open door. Spilling thoughts forevermore. Ideas bubble crisp and bright. Words take flight in morning light. Consult the heart, make it sing. New perspectives on each wing. Every thought becomes so clear. From sea tunes and bubbling streams, waking up to brand new dreams. Coffee chats with Melissa. Every cup was a whisper. Conversation.
Well, hello and good morning. It is Saturday. It is frozen a little bit where I am. Not really, not literally frozen. We're actually wet, very wet in the Pacific Northwest. We have this storm, this atmospheric river that keeps coming to visit us. And so I just want to take a moment and, give a pause to those who are being affected by these storms here locally and really on the West Coast right now. It's just been devastating to see this locally. And so if you guys are listening in from that impacted area, just know I see you. I know how hard it is to recover from disaster. I've done it before. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we stay as dry as we have been blessed to stay as this continues to keep coming, because it just hasn't paused. And so that's kind of part of why I've been on a break, is I was a little worried about what would happen with our electricity and utilities as a whole. And we've just been lucky where I am. So send a good love, vibes, prayers, support. There's a bunch of ways you can help if you're in the area. But just that's where my mind is first this morning. Second, thanks for coming, guys. This is a show I do once a week. and pretty consistently. I just did my LinkedIn review and it said that I showed up pretty consistently this year. I would love to know how many days it said you showed up. I think on the LinkedIn review, it said 344 for me I posted, which is pretty good, being that we do this as a choice, right? This is not something I'm required to do by anybody but myself. And so, how are you guys showing up for you, right? Like that's really where this week's topic came from, is why am I on LinkedIn? Why am I investing 344 days of my last year's life, right? My life this year. Why did I spend it here, and with who, and why? I also was looking at my year in review on Spotify. I'm a big fan of podcast over there. I like my music too. It was once Pandora. Shout out to the olden days, when I was rocking the recruiter's desk, when I was running a staffing agency, I would use Pandora quite often. But then my daughter understood the power of a cell phone and headphones, and she would unlike all of my favorite songs because it wasn't Frozen. And so quickly my Pandora became her Pandora and I shifted over. So long story short, I'm over on Spotify. It gives me my playback and I realize, wow, I have spent 8,000 plus minutes in podcasts just on Spotify. If you think about me on LinkedIn, 344 days giving, receiving data, right? That's what we do here. We exchange information. It's like the best mastermind I've ever found, especially at the low cost of free to get started. We've been putting in the work. And so when I thought about what I do, why I do it, how I do it, coming up on another year's end, right? We're getting ready to come into 2026. People are forward thinking. We're really getting going. I started to ask myself, like, do they know who I am? Do I have a clear message to people about what I do? Do people understand the work it takes to be a life coach and kind of what that encompasses? I know there's a lot of people out here who do coaching, but to really define it for how I offer it is kind of unique because truthfully, I am not a standard, and finger quotes, air quotes here, coach. I'm just not. I'm a little bit different than the rest. And that's what I love about myself. And I'm really proud of, because there's a few things that I lead with. One is fun. The other is passion. And what I realized about myself growing up is if I wanted to do it, I would jump into it full throttle. If I didn't, I wouldn't. Every report card told on me, right? If I did not find something immediately exciting, I was a disinterested individual. And so as a grown-up who doesn't get to just be disinterested, right? We have to go to work. We have to do the thing. It's very repetitive. Sometimes it can get super boring if you're doing the exact same job over and over. I think about I Love Lucy and her on the chocolate factory line, right? It's just the same rap movement. And then they speed it up a bit and it feels a little new, but it's really the same thing. And it feels exciting, but it's not. And eventually it becomes overwhelming because it's just the same thing over and over, but just faster and faster and faster and faster. And that's when I come in. I'm like, wait, let's slow it down. Let's get some clarity. I started as a consultant. So if you're new to the show, welcome. My name is Melissa Houston. I am the cultivator of dreams, motivator of human capital. What that really means, for those who don't know, is I help people like you figure out who they want to be when they grow up. And we get a plan together. Okay. So when people ask, what does a life coach do? We plan. We plan for action. We help you assess. We help you figure some stuff out. And every coach has their own way to do this. So I'm not speaking for the masses. I'm speaking for what this life coach does. I promise you there's some overlap. Okay. That's the other thing we're going to talk about a lot, is the good old Venn diagram. If you don't know what that is, you probably should Google it right now while I finish my intro, because we're going to dive into that a lot today. So Melissa Houston is here as somebody who has been a salesperson from 13, door-to-door top seller, selling newspapers in my hometown. Before it was dangerous, right? We didn't have crime back when I was a child, but I started on the ground, literally door-to-door sales. I moved that to telemarketing. Telemarketing moved into recruiting and staffing services sales. I also did some caregiving along the way. I also ran some fast food places along the way. I had 2 to 3 jobs my whole life because I am very easily bored. We talked about this. And so I can do lots of work in a day, but it can't be the same job over and over. I would die at the chocolate factory. However, if I managed every station, if I managed the managers at the factory, I would do better. Right. And so my clarity helped me grow within my career. And then I didn't really have a lot behind me, guys, as far as paperwork. And what I mean by that is I am a GED and a smile. And I say that with confidence because most high school diploma holders cannot pass the GED exam. I went back to school after I dropped out to take care of my great-grandfather. He needed constant care. My grandmother was still working every day as a caregiver outside of her own home. And so I helped. When she would come home, I would leave and do other jobs. I was working at a fast food restaurant, killing it, having a great time. I'd come home, be a caregiver, but I was also folding mail and stuffing envelopes. I was always busy multitasking, overlapping. Why? Because one, when I get bored, it can get chaotic. Two, I like forward progress. I have this quote that I believed my whole childhood from 16 on when I was sitting on the side of the road, really contemplating whether or not I could continue to live the life that I was given. It's a little bit of a trigger warning, guys, but I was suicidal and I was on the side of the road, really just contemplating life. And what came to mind, I had a pen and paper in hand, was a quote that I have lived by since. And I'm going to throw it up. I'm sure you guys have seen this before, but victory and victim both start out the same way. It's up to you how it ends. And so when I take this mindset, my career experiences of being told no, but figuring out a yes anyway, right? You have to keep knocking for the yes. You have a quota to meet in every sales role you've ever had. You had to figure out a way through the front door, even though you're not allowed to apply directly. I could do hiring for corporations I couldn't work for because I had a GED. They required a degree, but they would trust me to fill those roles for them without asking for the same credentials. Why? Because I came in from a different direction, a new perspective, a different title. I had a different kind of clout behind me. And once I realized that empowerment was available, it was about a perspective shift. It was about empowering myself to figure out a way beyond what they've already created. Because as a coach, as a consultant, that is the whole problem, right? The reason they can't fill the roles, the reason they have to pay a third party to help them fill the role, the one that I can feel that they can't, is because I explained to them the power of forgetting about the degree and looking at other ways that they have invested in their potential. Okay. So what I do with my Venn diagrams, with my coaching, with my consulting, with my entire career was to figure out how to get from victim to victory, from this isn't working to let's make it work. I went back to elementary education concepts. Silly me. It's what I remember most vividly from my educational career. So if you haven't Googled it yet, you should be there. But this is what it looks like. We plant seeds, right? So the left circle is always kind of where we are today, at least in my coaching. We assess the problem. Maybe it's your current role and you want a new role. Maybe, like we've talked about before, there's a high school student who wants to be in the NFL. This simple process can help us plan for that. So what we do is we plant seeds from the center. If the right side of the circle is where we want to go and the left circle is where we are today, what we have in the overlap is the seed to grow on. It is the unifying thing that we can work from to keep moving into the next circle. And the true purpose is to make these circles become one. As we move the things out of the left side circle, it becomes easier to push into the right side circle. Anything that's on the right side circle we don't have yet becomes our working to-do list. Guys, this is expensive advice I'm giving. Write it down. That's the other thing I want to talk about. Melissa, as a coach, is a big fan of writing it down and then getting to work. The reason that matters to me is because when I was raised, my mother was a waitress. And so when I was looking at life, when I was looking at what she was doing, how she was doing her job, she could take order after order, detail after detail. And as long as she jotted it down as they spoke, she could remember, she could execute that. And so for me, it's documentation, then action, right? at work, they always give you something to do. Your teacher gave you a syllabus. You know what the course is going to cover. You know why you're going in to do the thing before you start in every other professional aspect. And so what do? We grow the seeds we have into what we want to become. It could be a small idea. It could be a small conversation that's always tickled in the back of your mind. Why don't you start that dream job? Why don't you start that side hustle? Why don't you put that on Etsy to see if anybody wants to buy it, since you make a gazillion of them for fun anyway? Why don't you apply for a job above your pay grade just to see if they think you qualify, even if you don't? Because the overlap is in front of your coach. I see the potential. Some of the conversations we've had through this year were how, and I love this one, and Erin, I'm thinking of you as I say it almost, but how is a raven like a writing desk? I've talked about this before. A good coach can sit down with the Mad Hatter and sort that out. We could. They both have legs. That's the first thing I know, that Venn diagrams. A raven has legs, so does a desk. Right? I could, maybe the desk is black. Maybe they're both black. I don't know. I could sit here and get creative, but what I know is if you have the question, we can find the solution if we think together, right? There are ways small conversations can start big ideas. I can't tell you every way the raven is like a writing desk, but you know what? It might inspire you to have that conversation with yourself once I plant that seed in your brain. Once I ask you how you're like a district manager, if you're a junior high school teacher, you have to start assessing that. Well, what the hell would be the overlap, guys? If you've been in the show before, you know. But if a junior high school teacher wants to be a district manager somewhere, I can teach them how to present that. It's perspective. It's not going through the front door, it's going through the side like a recruiter would. What I would teach them is your 6 classes a day is 6 locations. Your 30 students is the 30 employees in each location. The syllabus that corporate gives you is no different than the syllabus you taught in the classroom. You can execute, and 99.99% of your students are successfully moved to the next level. That is promotion quote or criteria, right? Like if there's a quota for promotion, if they want you to invest in every new hire and get them to move to the next level, you are a corporate human's dream. HR, where are you at? What is the cost of turnover? If you can figure out how to present that success rate in a way that now HR understands how a raven is like a writing desk, you can be successful at anything. Why did they want to pay me as much as they did to help them staff? Because I had a perspective they didn't have. They couldn't fathom how it worked. But since they were already trusting me, I already successfully placed a few people in their roles. That way they gave me more and more and more. And then finally I said, listen, I don't even have the degree you're looking for. I couldn't work here. And I had to lock eyes with the person who I have successfully served for 6 months in spite of their hurdles. And then I said, that's the problem. If you're excluding even me from your roles, how are you ever going to grow in a small town? And you know what? Boom, game changer. I also said, how long are they banned? It's a small town. Are they banned for life? Do they get to come back after 5 years of not reapplying if they've been fired? When does a lesson get learned? Or are you always looking for new life? These are questions we have to ask to businesses, right? Piece by piece, small seeds at a time. I had to put in the work in the beginning to grow the reputation to become the sunflower that they listen to. Are you with me? Am I talking too fast? I'm going to slow down a bit. Okay. So where I'm at right now is life coaching. What it is, it's everything, because that's life. Why I became a coach versus a consultant, or why I claim both titles, because they say niche down. They say don't do this, right? I'm doing everything they, finger quotes, say. I'm doing it wrong. But why? I can tell you. The people who I coach already have the talent. They already have the know-how. They have the ability to do this. But something made them forget, get distracted, put that away. They forget they could do this without me. They forgot they don't need anybody but them. And a true coach, somebody really trying to get you to understand your value will tell you, I am not your forever partner. I do not want to coach you on the same thing over and over. And if you've worked with me, you know we don't focus on one thing. Yes, we'll worry about your job search. We're also cleaning your house. Yes, we'll worry about growing your brand. But if your brand's looking sloppy because of stuff at home, I'm talking to you about the stuff at home. If I see you're pushing and you're missing things and you're all about making sure you dot every I and cross every T, and all of a sudden the coach sees you slipping, I'm going to say, hey, take a day off. Take rest. Right? I wish I could do one job, right? Okay, now I'm going to engage the audience here, guys. Have you ever been hired for one job and only did that one thing? We talked about Lucille Ball, right? She does the candy wrapper on the line. Did she ever have to fill the machine again? Did she ever have to get up and move the boxes and move them over to the pallet? Did she ever have to do anything else, or was it the one job? Because I can tell you, as a recruiter, I did everything. I was a math teacher as a recruiter. Never was in the job description at all. But something else I can tell you about small town Nebraska, where I was doing my recruiting and staffing work, is to work in the manufacturing plants, you have to be able to read a ruler. They do a lot of measuring when they do manufacturing. Right? So when people wanted to work for me, they had to pass a measuring test. Some people had the gift of having prefabbed pieces. All they had to do was weld together. They didn't have to use a ruler. So when they came to me, they're the best welder I've ever met in my life. But because they don't know how to read a ruler, they're out instantly. And I get it. I've hired. I have criteria. I get paid really good money. Felipe, I'm not going to forget you, brother. They paid really good money to me to filter out the stuff so they didn't have to be the person I was being in that moment, which I get. But at the same time, I'm a helper. So what did I do? How are you at reading a ruler? And I would hand them a ruler before the test. And when they looked at me with panic, when I watched their face change, when I could see there was a struggle, I said, well, let's talk about it real quick, because they do require you to know how to do it, but I can show you. And so for 10 minutes, we would sit and talk. And Annette and I just had this conversation. She's always around students' education. We were talking about tutoring and all the things, right? I love math equating to pizza or money. If you don't understand fractions or decimal points, then the first thing I want to talk about is pizza or money. And why? Because most people understand it. Most people have split a pizza at home sometime in their life, or with friends, or somewhere, right? My $5, your $5, a $10 pizza, that means we cut it in half. That means if there's 8 slices, you get 4. We're doing fractions. We're doing percentages. And so if you can get the perspective to shift, I'm not doing math, I'm doing money and pizza. And who doesn't love money and pizza? All of a sudden, now you're invested, right? It's an easier conversation to have. That's what I would do. I do it with career. If you've ever lived in your career to the point where you're like, okay, it's sufficient. Okay, I've outgrown it. Okay, they laid me off. I don't have a choice. Okay, AI ate my job. Whatever it is. A lot of the time I talk with teachers who want to leave the classroom. If you've been paying attention to education, you can understand why. I understand the fun and passion behind teaching. The student who was in the classroom, I wanted to be a teacher forever, guys, and it's kind of ironic because that's what a coach and a consultant is doing without a degree. And so I am teaching what I learned on the grow. I had to get in there and take it up, right on the chin, guys. Learn the hard way. Learn to craft my sales message at 13 years old, door to door. I was interrupting your life to your face. I am the worst kind of salesperson at 13. And somehow I was the top seller anyway. Somehow that ability to find fun, counting the steps in between the houses, realizing that sometimes if I ended on 7 bricks, it just seemed like a luckier house than if I ended on 4 or 6. if I look back, I think it's because the houses were bigger and they probably had more time, money to invest in reading a paper and having a subscription. The shorter the steps, the less I had, right? But those are the things I learned on the Grow, others didn't. Direction and alignment with values. What aligns now? Are you the teacher you thought you would be, or is it a little bit more aggressive in the classroom than you remember it being when you were a student? Because I remember warm and fuzzies. I remember classrooms full of toys and color and fun. I remember playing in the kitchen that was in the corner of the room for those kids who finished their work early and couldn't sit still. I remember these things. And so if that no longer aligns with your life, if you're no longer a background screener like I was for a decade, then what do? Maybe you love what you do, but you don't have the passion anymore. You don't want to leave it. You just want to reignite the flame. I promise you it's another circle overlapping with your career. There's something else in your way that's holding you back from going to the next phase. We can figure that out together, have some confidence in that, and then take the next steps. I got to tell you, Felipe, this is probably the nicest thing I've read all day. He gave me a quick call before the show. I won't say why, but it was just something that I appreciate being part of his life. I'm glad he takes advice when I give it. I'm glad to have the fun and passion of the show we do together too. You guys, it doesn't have to be a me. It doesn't. Exactly, Sean. It could be a Sean or a Felipe, right? But guys, a lot of us are showing up for free. Have all of us show up to all the shows. Jay, you're all over the place. You're always getting the work in. Where is Merrill Cass? He's always getting the work in too, right? Aaron Gibson, he lives and breathes these events. We have to decide what we're investing in and how and why. And you can pick the one you align with most. Also, it's okay to have more than one coach. I would not have more than one coach for more than one thing. Do not hire 2 cooks to make the same soup. That's ridiculous. Put one on the bread and one on the soup and one on the appetizer and one on the salad. Have them working different aspects of your life. But I will say, as a life coach, I love understanding what you're trying to accomplish with your other coach, because I can reinforce it in your marketing if that's what we're working on. I can reinforce it in your reminders and accountability if that's what I'm offering. I can reinforce the confidence. I can show up and support you. I can say nice things in the comments that I believe, because I don't fake it. If I don't believe in it, I won't work with you. I'll be honest. I'll just refer you out. I'll tell you, I'm sorry, we don't know why, and I can't do this anymore. We're done, whatever it is, because I want you to trust me and I want you to have confidence in me. And if I don't have confidence in my client, I can't do it either, right? And so trusting yourself and your voice, telling your coaches, I have other coaches, is a confident thing to do. You're allowed to work on your mind, your body, your menu, your house. You can revamp the guest room while you're working out at the gym, while you're doing podcast mindset, while you're reading the book about life, while you're talking to your therapist, while you're at the doctor's office. You could do all of it. You're allowed, right? Have the confidence to get it all done, but be open about it, because if you are not allowing your coaching to overlap, for the leadership to work together to reinforce it, you could be holding yourself back. And I'm not saying you have to have different coaches, but it really is smart to have a marketing person be a marketing person. And then if you just need like startup service, I always say I'm the first 3 to 5 bullet points in your journey. I will help you get your page ready. I'll help you get your SEO ready. I'll help you get your ideas, your brand, your logos, your concepts. I will get your passions ready to present to the website designer. I don't do websites. I have somebody for that. I will get the passion ready for your marketing team who will post on your behalf. I'm not posting on your behalf. I will revamp your post if you need it. I will be a second set of eyes to make sure you're crossing the T's and dotting the I. I will be what you need in that moment. But I will not be there forever to do it. We're going to get you used to Grammarly. We're going to get you used to double checking and looking for the same mistakes. If you're always missing the I, go back and check your eyes before you send it to me. Don't waste my time. I'm going to coach you to be better on your own, right? I am losing myself a little bit in the comments, guys. So if I'm like overlapping these a little bit, I'm so sorry, but I just don't want to miss your comments, and I appreciate you all. I will open up the stage in a little bit. I do want to hear from you guys. I would love to have this conversation, so you can message me on LinkedIn. I'm not there yet. I'm totally ignoring my messages until I'm done with my display here, but I will get to you guys soon. If you want to join, just message me on LinkedIn, please. Okay. So the other thing about being a good leader, not only in your life and helping the leaders around you, It is to set boundaries and communicate and to influence how the outcomes work. You cannot rely solely on your coach to make it happen. You can't. You can't rely on your marketing team or your website designer, because if you're not articulating exactly what you need in a way that they understand it, you're not leading yet. And that's okay, because we all have to learn how to communicate. Every time you walk into a new conversation, new room, new person, new anything, new overlap, you have to understand what matches, what don't, where do we meet in the middle? How do we get them to overlap more with us? How do we get to a point where we can move forward together? Sometimes you have a lot of time to do this, sometimes you don't. What you understand is sometimes when you see chaos in the moment, you see some move into help assess the EMTs. A lot of those first responders don't need to see the badges, because they can tell just by the way the person's assessing the patient in front of them. Okay, that's leadership. They're already over there leading the way. They can tell by watching. It's why I know who to refer you to. My network is vast. I know a lot of really cool people. I cannot be a leader alone. As a matter of fact, one of the things I tell my coaching clients is to watch their social selling index. Why? Because you can't be the smartest guy in the room and still expect to grow. And I mean guy figuratively. Ladies, I see you. All of those who are non-gender conforming, I see you. Welcome you too. But you cannot be the smartest human there. If you are always the top 1% of LinkedIn, at the top 1% of your network, who are you learning from? Where are you being fed on the platform? Or are you just feeding? Because it's okay if you're giving here, but how are you filling your cup to stay relevant, be on top of it, make sure it's industry related, life related? Like, yesterday's job market is not today's job market. A decade ago, we moved completely different than today. Some of this stuff is circling back. Some of the stuff, like a paper resume delivered to the front door, is more efficient and effective now. Sometimes that just ends up lost in the breeze, because if it's not digital, it never happened in some of these companies. It's about mindset. It's about figuring it out, right? It's about being aware of how it happened before, how it could happen again, what you want to prevent, what you want to repeat. One of my favorite questions, and you should write this down if you're a job seeker, to ask during an interview is, what did the last person do really well in this role? And the only question I like to ask right before that, because I like to leave them on a positive note, is what did they do that you wish it wouldn't continue? Like, what can I do to change the bad behaviors? What bad behaviors exist that you're looking to stop if I enter this role? And then asking them, well, what were the strengths? It reinforces that you know there's both sides. It reinforces a positive feeling at the end of the conversation, because if they're mad at Bob and you end with Bob, you're still leaving that taste on their tongue at the end of your conversation. That's a bad idea. There's other ways. You look at yourself. I got to be honest, guys, my life is shifting. If you guys haven't been paying attention, I have been going through some stuff because I am separated from my spouse. We celebrated 18 years together this year, and just days after that anniversary, life changed. He has been out of the house since, and it's been hard. It just has. And what I've noticed about Melissa, and this is another reason I went on break and took some time, is that when I'm not sure what's next, when I'm not sure what happened, when I'm just kind of sitting there like, okay, I pause and I assess and I reflect and I think about everything. I also do it because I want to know what my pattern is. I want to know if my actions are being intentional in this moment. Am I reacting in this moment? Am I responding in this moment? How am I moving? Why? And I go back to the elementary education concepts. Who, what, where, when, why, guys. And this is something we all need to do, because relationship comes up next. But truth is, our mindset is either we're going to do the work to assess the problems, create solutions, apply solutions, reassess, building that resilience, building on emotional agility and emotional intelligence, looking at the opportunity to grow. I can look at a Venn diagram and say, oh my gosh, there's like so little here overlapping. Oh my gosh, it's just a sliver. Like I'm the only thing that's the same of this life and the next life that I'm trying to build. I'm the only thing. And sometimes that's all you need, guys. Sometimes the only thing in the middle is the hope of something next. I hope there's going to be something to write down here soon. I hope I'm going to have a plan soon. But what I know about myself is at least this first circle. So I start with the good, the bad, and the ugly in my first circle every time. Tell me about your life. And I don't ask you guys to share these things, but I really get people into everything that's going on, because when you finally slow down, sit down, write it down, and look at it, a couple things happen, and we've talked about it before. One, it's like a grocery list. If you say milk, eggs, bread, sugar in your brain enough, you sound like a crazy person, right? It's just, no offense to those who might struggle with OCD or repetition, but it really is something that doesn't feel natural. You don't know why you do it, and you're doing it because you don't want to forget. But when you write it down, your brain goes, you don't have to remember. And if you forget the list, can you even remember 2 of the things that you wrote down on the list? Probably not. I didn't. I don't know about you. You can let me know. It also works for all the things that are happening. You also don't have to worry about all the bills that are coming if you get your tracker together, right? You don't have to worry about calling people back from memory alone if you write down call back Bob when you miss the call. So just slowing down to assess, slowing down to get the circles out, slowing down to do it your way. You don't have to do it my way, but it really helps. And that includes relationships, because 99.9% of the time when I'm struggling at work or in any way, truthfully, it's because a relationship is unsteady. I am very much an emotionally connected creature. I don't like to be at odds with people. I don't like negative energy. I don't like to have problems, because I like to poke my brother. I like to play. I like to thumb war and, beat you at Connect 4, and definitely competitive. But true, genuine chaos and animosity is not where I want to be. It actually really just shuts me down in a way that I can't move forward. So when I have relationship troubles, I put my boundaries up so I don't spill my mess on other people. I call it ketchup, right? Like I always think about a white party and then a ketchup bottle that's just leaking everywhere, syrup, whatever the solution is, right? That thing. And I know I get messy when relationships are hard. I know I get emotional, and then I start responding, which is the emotional women aspect of the coaching, right? Like there's a reason those emotions rise. And when we assess the emotional responses we're having and the trigger of it, not just band-aid the feeling of the stress, the anxiety, the sadness, not just get over the moment, but understand where the root cause came from, the seed that started that growth of that feeling, then we can get moving, right? At least I can. That's me. But everybody that I've ever talked to, when they get clear in their relationships, their boundaries in their relationships, what they can accept, what they can't accept, they get their top 10 list of who they want to date, the qualities they want in a job. I mean, I use a top 10 list for a million things. It's fun. But as soon as you figure out what you want, you realize, well, this isn't it when it arrives. If you know you want chocolate cake and you see raspberry coming, you're already disappointed, and it's not them. It's a beautiful cake. Sally, do you want the raspberry? I'm waiting for chocolate. It's clear. It's not even messy. It's just, no, thank you. I'm waiting. The same thing can happen when you know there's an apology due. There's boundaries being disrupted. I don't know how many times as a grown-up, as a child, my mom love tapping on my boundary. And I know I'm not alone. I know I'm the mom who does it to her kids sometimes now. Not intentionally, right? But when those relationships get faulty, it does. It distracts. It can take away from what we're thinking about at work. If you're worried about the argument you had with your spouse in the morning, you're not focused at work. Not many of us can. Some can. Right? And some do, but it's going to be temporary if you never resolve it. Eventually, that small bleed, that small cut can fester, get bad. It really starts creating ripples beyond yourself. And then the other side of relationships is looking at who you overlap with most. Who's moving in with you? Who's overlapping with your passions, your dreams, your fun, your play? It gets into my brother, Felipe. It gets into Aaron, who did my fantastic opening. I know I shouldn't say that because it's my song and it sounds big-headed. I didn't do it. I made a suggestion or two, and he created magic. And I love the song. But when I Venn diagram with my friends, I can tell you where we overlap. I can tell you where we don't. And it's okay that we don't 100% overlap. We shouldn't. We're not the same humans. But once you're confident in what you're great at and what you're not, when I know, hey, Felipe is really good at putting up the visuals for the show. Me, I'm good at my show, but I don't really do any of that work for our show. I want to, but he's better at it. I'm going to let him. And I'm just going to come in with the zingers or the funny or the story or the whatever. And I'm going to move you in a different way because truthfully, he's better at that. And I don't want to fight and I don't want to do it. And it's beautiful. But if I wasn't clear on who I was or why I wanted to do what I do, my way, his way, whatever, if he wasn't clear on what he wanted to do, it could get messy, right? And it's simple, guys. You can get into a room with a team. I have coached so many business teams on communication and working together and how a Venn diagram can get a team to do their job, but the whole job together, right? We can have a project and break down project management task into a Venn diagram. Some of you have seen it in your project management tools. It's like automatically built in now. We're talking about alignment when we talk about Venn diagrams and life coaching and making sure all the things you want to be the core, your center, what you say is your life, align. That it is sustainable, because the hardest part is when it's not, guys. I'm going to tell you, as somebody who has been through, good and bad relationships, good and bad endings. I lost a fiance a few days before the wedding in his sleep at 27. It took me some time to recover. I recovered. I had 18 years of marriage with my husband. We're still married. I don't know what comes, but I know we're not in alignment, and that stinks. Now, as a coach, I can tell you there's work that could be done to do it, but it has to be agreed upon, right? That's a thing. And so when you get clear on where you stand and your alignment and what overlaps with you and what doesn't, it gets clear for both of you in relationships. And so this works for marriages, business, coworkers, business partners should be doing this to start. What do I do? What do you do? How do we overlap? What do we do the same? What do we do differently? Understanding what triggers you. One of the first things I have to do in a relationship is explain what makes my body uncomfortable without my permission. It's unfortunate my body does it, but I am a survivor of different types of abuse. And so it was unfortunate for my husband, but when we first started dating, if he tried to cuddle me in the middle of the night, I would swing. Just my hands would start flapping, don't touch me in the middle of the night. And it was a trauma response from a childhood event. It took a long time for me to get calm enough to not respond that way anymore, to feel the safety, to feel the peace, to have that alignment and regulation, to know that was not danger, right? And it takes time, and it takes support, and it takes routines, and knowing that consistency is there. It takes being aware of what triggers you and how you respond to that. What you can do to maybe get calm before bed so you're not higher stress level, because that always made it worse. And when I would go to sleep, if I was stressed before bed, I always had worse dreams, right? Just simple concepts that I figured out about me and that I tell you about me, so maybe you can try for you. And then I tell you the outcomes of others, right? There's others who have successfully done this. There are people who are changing their lives in ridiculous ways because of one or two conversations. I don't even, for the longest time on LinkedIn, I was coaching one time. You got 1 hour. Maybe we did 4 hours. Maybe we did a couple hours in one day. Maybe we did a few sessions in a week, but we didn't meet for very long. I just sent you on your way. I was like, nope, there you go. And then eventually I said, maybe I need to do a year. I wonder what would happen if I opened it up for a year. And then I got to watch my clients, right? I got to watch them evolve. And the things we started working on became a little smaller in the bubble of the circles of the Venn diagram. And different things became a priority because we had slowed down and assessed, well, wait a minute, hold on. I know you said we got to do this, but what am I hearing here? Once you get aligned emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, once you understand where you stand, you can start moving forward. But if you don't know where your footing is, if you start moving on the top of a mountain without understanding if you're on a stable ground or not, you can cause an avalanche. If you don't know who's below you and you start climbing and it's gravel and it's rocky and you're dropping rocks, you're going to hurt the person below you who might be tethered to you, who will take direct hits from that gravel. You need to make sure you're aligned and not moving in a way that could hurt others, especially if that's the point. So life coaching is not just about you, it's about the people around you. How do you show up for them too? And it's hard because I have to have this conversation. I have to have it with myself every day because if I teach it, I better live it. I am very much a fan of, as Aaron would say, eating my own dog food or taking my own medicine. I would never ask my children to do something I wouldn't do. I always said, just beat me a little bit. I'm not asking them to go get college degrees. I just said, graduate. I got a GED. I didn't actually graduate. Can you just graduate? When I go back to school and I get my degree, because I want to do it for me, that's something that's in my Venn diagram for life, then the bar's raised and then they got to beat me a little bit. That's all I'm asking. And if they don't, that's okay. Because if their Venn diagram of life tells them they just need to be a clown and charge $150 an hour to blow bubbles at a party, I'm going to go buy them the coolest shoes I can find. I'm going to get them a subscription to a bubble company or balloon company that sends them different shapes every month. Shape of the month club or something. I don't know. I'm going to support them fully if they can tell me that's what they want instead. All I want to do is ask them to go a little bit farther than I did because I know there were times that I gave up on myself and I could have went further. I just want you guys to think about it for you. Is it you holding you back? Because I've held myself back. How did I hold myself back? I didn't ask for the help I needed. I didn't get the clarity I needed. I would let especially early sales, I didn't tell my boss I wasn't closing the sales. I'm like, oh, it's fine. I was so scared of the accountability. How are sales? Well, they're good. I had nothing yet. And then finally a boss came over and said, when you don't have any, can you not say good anymore? Just tell me not there yet. I was like, okay. And it was the first time anybody gave me permission to say not there yet without being in trouble. And it was a mindset shift. Guys, sometimes a good coach is just giving you the permission you were never given. Or a lot of the times we're told we need permission through our early education. And you can go back on the history of the U.S. Education Department, why it started. But they really had created the U.S. Department of Education, or like the thought of education to get you to read at an 8th grade level so you could work in the manufacturing plants. After that, they didn't really mind. And so the stuff that used to be fun and great and enjoyable for us, it came later, like they evolved, but that wasn't the intention. What I also realized is a lot of my teachers just wanted obedience and compliance, not necessarily the knowledge absorption. As long as I did enough to get out of the class, they didn't care if I really understood the assignment. There are teachers, coaches, partners, friends, humans around you that will allow you that same disservice. You need to surround yourself with people who will push you to be better every day. I love that part of Felipe and I. You guys might have come to the show. I know we have had people thinking we were just burning down LinkedIn because of the fire that was on the show. And I got to tell you, the fire on the show is what inspires one half to go, Felipe's always right, and the other half to go, Melissa's always right. But what we're getting is 100% overlap for the audience. We're getting somebody to be heard from their perspective in a way that I felt was necessary in the moment and the way Felipe felt it was necessary in the moment. This is that alignment. It doesn't have to be 100% overlap. We're not the same circle. As a matter of fact, if he gets in my circle, I'm probably going to throw an elbow at him. But being able to go, yes, this is where we stand together. This is where 100% we always agree. This is non-negotiable. This is Felipe and Melissa. This is who Careers, Chaos, and Coaching is and for who and why. That's when you can't shatter it, guys. That's the kind of alignment that works, right? We're going to figure it out for you because his perspective matters to me. Your perspective matters to me, and vice versa for Felipe with my perspective and your guys' perspective. To answer your question, you can get a copy of this on YouTube. It is streaming there. LinkedIn also stores them under my events tab on my profile. Guys, if you are new to the show, welcome. I'm seeing some new friends. Really grateful for you to be here. I want to go just to a couple more slides here, maybe just visit the concept again. Life coaching, right? What I love about my life coaching is I'm a little bit of Lisa Frank. I love the colors. I'll be honest. I'm an 80s kid. If you don't like it, I'm sorry, not sorry. Not your girl if you like black and white. I do have a good solid black background. I like that stark contrast. But the truth is I like to live in fun and passion. And the reason fun and passion is my coaching premise, using colors and fun and Venn diagrams and elementary education concepts, is because if you run your budget right now, I don't care where you are, I don't care who you are, I don't care if we've ever met before. If you take out everything that's legally required to be obtained as an adult to survive, your car insurance, the gas, the food, the whatever, the utilities, right? Like just run all the stuff you have to pay, because if not, you're in trouble somewhere, right? The government doesn't let you live in a house without utilities. They really dislike that. When you think through all of that stuff, take it off. When it's just your money, nothing is required of it. What are you spending it on? And I can tell you right now, it's one of two things. And it always comes down to fun or passion. And the reason that is because you're either looking for entertainment, you take your family to the movies, you guys go to play putt-putt golf, you go on a trip, or you're passionate about changing something. You hire the guy to come fix the roof. You hire the trainer to come work you out. You hire the personal chef to cover your menu because you can't trust yourself not to get the extra cheese sauce. So you just have to have a chef make your meals. I look at Jelly Roll and I think about the progress this man has made. I went to the concert this summer and I just look at his transformation, and it was a choice he made, guys. It was his passion to be different. When you can get all of these things into an aligned state, when it's career, your confidence, your mindset, your leadership, your alignment, where you can go confidently from work to home and know you're doing your best in both. You're bringing your A game, that if something comes up, your team in all locations is going to handle it. Whether you're your team, whether your team's not built yet, it doesn't matter. You're ready to show up for it. And the only things you show up for are fun and passion. So what are they? How do you align your career and your relationships and your mind and your life to do all the things you want it to do? If you don't know, you get a coach, you get some help, you sit down and start journaling. There's tons of self-help books out there that were created long before I was even. There's ways you can do it, but you have to pick your path and determine now is the time. And that's a choice only we can make. The best advice a coach can ever give you is to tell you you're the only person who can make this happen. It's not me, it's you every time. Because if you're not ready, we're not ready. If you're not 100% going to push through it, then we're never going to get there, because life happens. I think about the Pursuit of Happiness movie. Did you guys ever see it? Drop a comment if you did. I'm going to start sharing this link to join the stage here. So give me a second. I want to send them out. Make sure you're messaging on LinkedIn if you'd like to join or ask questions or any of that, right? And going back to the movie, though, Pursuit of Happiness, if you've seen it, what I love about this concept is this guy went from homeless to at the top of his game. And while it's probably dramatized for television and movies or whatever a little bit, I know Eric Thomas, the motivational preacher, did the same kind of concept. Growth. He grew from being on the streets to now a PhD motivational speaker who's just killing the game. He's my motivation in the morning when I need a pick-me-up. Everybody should have a coach or somewhere they're being fed, guys. And so when I think back to The Pursuit of Happiness, he had to get to his interview, and he even lost his shoe, I think, right, in the movie. And I'm not going to give away all of it. But he showed up in spite of, he showed up broken. He showed up sloppy. He showed up with nothing more than passion. And you know what? As somebody who's recruited for a living, somebody who's hired, somebody who's coached mindset, leadership, evolution of passing the torch from the people who started the business to the people who are going to take it over when the new ones come up and the others retire, and trying to figure out how they go from like fax machine to technology now, right? From fax to AI, and they're all still working in the same building. How do you get them to unify? Well, good dang Venn diagram. That is how I did it. But they had to be willing to meet in the middle. If they weren't passionate about doing the homework that I asked of when the business paid me to be there, that was a sign for their leadership. They're not invested. So either the leaders need to go get them motivated and impassioned and have them have fun with it, or we need to not overlap. And it's really hard when people hear, hey, maybe we just don't have the alignment. Maybe you just don't have it. But having been a leader of a retail store for the past few years now, walking in, there was passion for the product, but not passion for serving the community, because the passions weren't the same for the team that I met versus how I came in with my mindset, right? My passion is not for riding. I don't ride a motorcycle. But my passion is to keep people safe. My passion is to maintain compliance. DOT, Department of Transportation, they have laws on how you operate a motorcycle. And the laws are there to protect the humans. There are different state laws that protect the rider. Knowing the differences, coaching, teaching, telling a rider why they need to protect themselves and how, even down to some of the fun little like nuanced, sparkly, magical concepts. It all adds up to the passion of serving the community. I get to feed them. I get to host these events. I get to kick my customers because they didn't buy an airbag, and they end up buying me like birthday cake because I kicked them because they weren't safe yet. And it's a joke because they have these great boots and they didn't feel it. They're protected. But it's being invested with the passion that I have. For others who are new to the show too, I've lost a few riders in the past year. There have been 3 separate instances where people have lost their life that were pretty close to me, younger kids who were in my store a lot. And it wasn't lack of gear. But the investment is there because I'm passionate to prevent it, right? And that's a different kind of feeling, guys. You can't teach that. And when people have it, you see the differences. And so why I bring that up is not to make the mood less fun, but the truth is it all fell under my umbrella this year. Relationship problems, death, right? Losses. I'm still coaching. I'm still confident. I'm still on LinkedIn 344 days. I'm still doing 8,000 minutes of podcast plus on just Spotify. I was looking for leadership when I needed leadership to lead me. And I was leading those who needed my leadership in the way that I could show them I had already successfully completed it. I didn't need to be all things to all people. And so don't expect that from a life coach. They're not perfect, but they will make sure that you're talking about the right things. You're poked at the right things. You're asked the right questions just to know there's work there. Doesn't mean you have to do it today. We also have 3 different to-do lists around Melissa's parts. We have today's to-do list, this week's to-do list, and after. Today's to-do list is 24 hours. You have 24 hours to get it done. What can you accomplish? I always suggest no more than 3 to 5, because if you do more than that, it can get pretty sticky. Each to-do list bullet point can create additional bullet points. And so you want to make sure you don't overwhelm yourself. But if you stick to 3 to 5 things a day, pretty easy to do, then you give yourself the grace of next week. So 7 days. This weekend, I'll clean the garage. This weekend, I need to go grocery shopping. This weekend, I'm going to file my taxes, whatever it is, right? And then after, anything after 7 days is that list. The grace of this is if you finish today's list, maybe you need to brush your teeth, wash your hair, and take a shower. Maybe that's it, right? Simple stuff. If you get that done, great. Go to this week's list. What else do you have to do? Do you want to go grocery shopping now? You're all clean. Let's go. What else do you have? Oh, the laundry, start it before you go. When you get back, it'll be ready to go in the dryer. By the time you get the groceries put away, maybe you will be ready to fold. It's alignment. When you know what you need to do, you can plan effectively. When you can see further into the future, you can strategize more efficiently. But if you don't write it down, we're not going anywhere. If you want to join the stage, guys, let me know. I want you to come up here. But what are you hearing? What is coaching for you? Have you had a life coach? What did it do for you? What are you working on? These are the questions I want you answering for yourself, whether it's openly, publicly, in front of everybody or not. Are you answering these questions for yourself often? Are you ready to get busy being aligned, not just busy? Because people can tell you all the time that they want it different, that they're ready, but then they don't come to the appointments. I've had people who had free opportunities to coach and they disappeared. They weren't ready for the work. I'm not mad at them. Maybe they found a different coach. That's cool too. I wish they would have said goodbye in the moment, right? I wish they would have had that boundary established, but also I wish them well and I pray for them. I truthfully, I'm a brain coach. I can't help myself. But they have to be ready and I can't force it. And it's so hard, especially when you want to align with people, when you want to help, when you know you have the tools, when you know there's opportunity and possibility, but they're just not willing to put in their part. They're not ready. And it doesn't matter why they're not ready. Maybe it's too heavy today. Maybe it just is too much. It just feels like the one final straw, right? And that's okay. When it gets lighter, you can come back. You can start again. But what I want to do is plant the seed of the idea of, are you going to grow? Are you looking at your Venn diagram? Are you asking yourself the hard questions? It's why I do this for free for 2 hours every Saturday. It's why I show up with Felipe at Careers, Chaos, and Coaching. I mean, heck, guys, why do you show up? What is your reason? I will say, if you guys are joining the stage, because I'm sending out these invites, anybody who wants them, just DM me, because I won't know if you don't. I'm not watching the comments as effectively as I wish I was. What is it like for you to think about coaching? Because the other part, and this is the hardest part, is letting people in. Because I'm not a coach for everybody, because I see beyond the conversation. This sounds crazy a little bit to me, I know, but there are times where I'm listening and what is being said is heard and understood, but I also hear the screams in what's not being said, the back of the eyebrows. I can hear your brain going, he's not telling you what we need to tell you. And that's a gift, right? My best teachers called me on my BS. My best friends call me on my BS. We push each other, even when we're like, well, this is what I'm hearing, or this is what you said, but this is not what I feel, and this is what I'm thinking, and this is my perspective. And you know what? That's okay. Because we've talked about being at a restaurant in the show, and my mind goes there often with my mom being a waitress. And I think about having a dirty glass. Like, what if we went to go meet at a cafe for the coffee this morning? And as we're sitting down, you have this beautiful cappuccino in front of you, all the bells, all the whistles, all the sprinkles, coated in cocoa and whipped cream and all the fun stuff. And then all of a sudden, my face squinches. You look different. I'm not looking at you normal. I say, don't do that. Don't drink that. Are you mad at me for saying don't? Or are you going to ask me the question of why? Because the next statement could be, I see lipstick still on the rim of the glass from the last person who drank from the cup. Or you could think I'm just trying to take your cappuccino. You could think I'm just trying to prevent your happy. Or you could wonder what I see from my perspective and be open to that. And so just think about that. Who's pushing you? Who's got different perspectives for you? Felipe is here. He pushes me often. I'm excited for that. Also, I'm going to tell you guys, if you're coming on stage, we do no video on my show because we just want it to be about the show. It's very old school audio style, but I never wanted to give that up. And so thank you for that. Felipe, dude, like so many things I've thought about today, I've talked about today that I'm like, where is Felipe? I want to talk about this with you. And so we might have to do a follow up on this, or at least just describing coaching in general, because I think there's so many ways we can approach this as a whole. But talk to me, Felipe, what's coming up for you?
No, I'm loving what you're saying because I mean, look, at the end of the day, coaching, there could be a million coaches, there could be so much coaching opportunities, but if you're not open to being coached, it's never going to work. You said, calling people out helps you. It helps me too. I don't beat around the bush. Tell me straightforward. My CEO, God bless her, we were having a one-on-one like last week. Are you typing, Houston?
Yes.
I can hear it wonderfully. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And so she sits there and she's like, I know you've been really busy lately. I know you've had a lot going on. The last two things you sent me to review, I kind of could tell you did ChatGPT it. Are you okay with everything? Are you okay with your workload? Do you need help? I'm like, no, I was just frustrated because I spent all this time on this one thing, it didn't work, and then I tried to fast track the solution. Thank you for calling me out. And she's like, I'm not calling you out because it's bad that you're using it. I'm calling you out because we don't hear your voice. We don't hear Felipe. And that's what is one of the things that you make an impact on is your voice. And when you use ChatGPT, we kind of lose that. And so I was glad she called me out on that because that was her way of coaching me, being direct and real, but being, caring the same way. But there's also indirect coaching, and I'm going to share this something with all of you all that I shared with Miss Houston here, is that God puts people in our lives for a reason, and I truly believe that He put Melissa Houston in my life for a reason, for many reasons. But again, it's about reaching out to those people in your life that are knowledgeable about something and seeking out their advice. Sometimes we wait for the advice to come to us, but sometimes we have to go out and just ask. And so I think I shared with some of you recently that my son got a motorcycle, and he's 23 years old, he's of age, he paid for it himself. And I called Houston and I'm like, all right, guess what my son did? What recommendations do you have? And she gave some recommendations, which he had already done most of them, which I was proud of. And then Christmas came along and like, hey, what ideas do you have? And she gave me some good ideas that were fun and safety related too. So I was like, great ideas. And I purchased them. And then yesterday, he was going to a holiday party and he was going to take the car and he's like, you know what, I'm just going to take a bike. It's not bad. It stopped raining. It's all good. And I'm like, all right, well, you're going to DC, just be careful down there. And right before he left, I said, you know what? I'm going to give you an early Christmas present. It's something that Melissa told me to get for you, and I just want to give it to you now. And it's called a Guardian Bell. It's a bell that motorcyclists give each other. You can't buy it for yourself, but it's meant to protect you and guide you and have an angel looking over you kind of concept. And it has to be gifted to you. So I told Brady that, and he's like, actually, that's kind of cool. Thanks. And so he put it on his keychain and he went on his way. 25 minutes later, Brady calls me and says he had an accident on his motorcycle. Now, any parent would understand the freak out moment you have in your brain. And first thing I asked him is like, are you okay? And he said, yes, I'm just pissed. I'm like, what happened? He didn't hit anybody. Nobody hit him. He was making a sharp turn. He realized he might have been going a little bit faster, but he saw a pothole or like part of the road was messed up and also wet. And it just took the bike out from underneath him and the bike flew off and it got damaged. he is 100% okay. He has a scratch on his arm. He had good gear on him. He was protected. He's got a little bruise on his leg, but the bike is not drivable right now. It's got some dents. He's upset about the value, the first scratch, the fact that it's not drivable, the fact that he has to invest more money when he doesn't have the extra money right now to invest. But at the end of the day, I'm so grateful that he's okay. And things happen for reasons. And, whatever your belief system is, your faith system is, I'm just grateful that Melissa suggested that gift and that I gave it to him before I got on that bike, because for me, I just don't believe in coincidences, and I believe that somebody was looking out for him when that happened. So Melissa, thank you for being you, and thank God for giving me the wisdom to listen to you.
Listen, I am so grateful he's okay. It's so easy to replace the bike eventually. And like I told Felipe when he called before the show, I tell new bike riders to go out to a field, push their bike over and just get it out of the way. Somebody's going to crash eventually or drop it, or it falls off the kickstand. I mean, there's so many ways it can just be a bad day with a bike. But the other thing, and whether you guys believe in the juju of a guardian bell or not, for me, it's the power of the reminder. I care enough about you for you to ride safely. And if nothing else, he might have been going slower than he had been going on the way over beforehand, right? I'm not going to judge how anybody rides, but I know my motorcycle riders in my store, they tend to like to think about going faster than the rules allow, and I yell at them for that. But the truth is, when I ask them to ride safely, even if it's just my voice, even if they look at the speedometer and then go, oh crap, Melissa's probably going to be mad at me, which they have come back and said, I think of you every time I'm thinking about being bad. And I'm like, oh, she'll be so mad.
That's good. No,
but that's
good.
Exactly it, right? Just the reminders, guys. It's the alignment of I love you. This is what you mean to me. This is how it matters. It comes back to it.
I gotta tell you a funny story though, real quick though, because of the bell.
Then we have Bill too, so I want to add him soon too.
Okay. That last story is that the bell. As I'm giving him the bell, I read to him what it says, and it says, "Fly faster than your angel can fly." And I'm sitting there. I'm thinking about it. Oh, don't say anything yet. Don't say anything. And I'm sitting there like, "Fly faster than your angel can fly." I'm like, hold on a second. Wait, I forgot a word. Never fly faster than your angel can fly.
I was like, I know that, Bell. That is not what it is.
I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, or please hear what I'm saying, Brady. Never fly faster than you. And so I was like, yeah. But I'm just grateful he's okay, and just God, an angel looking out for him. So, but yeah. All right, I'm done sharing. Just want to thank you, Houston, for just being you and being a great coach, directly and indirectly.
Well, thank you for letting me in, and thank you for being the partner in crime on Careers, Chaos, and Coaching, because it is fun. And, guys, the overlap is the place you can play. It's the playground of the school. It's where we all just kind of put down the differences and get on the swing sets because we love it. It's where audio events started for us. Felipe and I started to chat in one of my Saturday rooms about something, and I always was asking questions like your favorite cereal or superhero character or something, even back when. And he came in and just started talking, and then we'd argue, and then it's all our friend Kenny's fault. Kenneth Dunner is the reason Careers, Chaos, and Coaching exists, because it's like, y'all need your own show. Felipe, leave Melissa alone and get off her stage. Do it in your own show. And so we did the very next day, and it was great. But guys, if you're not following my friends, please go find them. Jay, I don't know where you went. Come back. I definitely want you on the stage. Bill was next. Bill, welcome. How are you doing? What's going on? It's Saturday.
Oh, hold on.
No, there you are.
You can hear me?
Yep.
Oh, it's Saturday, yes, and it's going well. I'm just kind of waking up. Did you mute me?
No, you're talking.
Oh, okay. So I just wanted to thank you for everything that you do, and to kind of share how you've helped me over the past few weeks. And it's amazing to think that it hasn't really been a full 30 days yet, but the impact to my life has been substantial. I I'm pretty guarded about, which is funny because I'm all over the place, but I'm very guarded about my my personal life and my home life and struggles that I'm going through in the day to day. I always try to keep it love and light and happy and exciting. But underneath the current, there's a lot going on. And you have successfully helped me navigate my way out of a very deep depression. And right now, I'll say it, all my windows are open. I am sitting here with my chai tea because I'm replacing it from coffee, with replacing that coffee, and I'm applying for. I am intentionally, that's a key word, applying for my next my next big gig as I continue walking towards my creative side. All that
I
said,
am
but
so proud of you. I just gotta say that right now. Like, so proud of the work you're doing. Guys, the window thing for me is the number one sign, because that's one of the first questions I asked. I was like, why are your windows closed? So-
it was cozy and dark. I loved it. But I loved it too long.
and sometimes we get there, guys. We get comfortable. Those sweatpants. Let's talk about sweatpants in the wintertime. They're so cozy. They're so nice. They keep you warm and they're just comfortable. And then all of a sudden you put them away. And then in January, you grab your jeans and you're like, wait, what? Then this isn't comfortable. And all of a sudden the cozy wasn't cozy. It was something different. And it felt cozy in the moment. But
Right.
you got to do the work once it stops, right? And that's okay. It's different seasons and you're in it. And I'm excited. What else did you want to say? Sorry.
I wanted to say that it's also messy. And while you're going through it, you have to have a very strong coach. Because I will say this, there are certain areas in my life that if you poke at, you're going to get burned. Um, and with Melissa, she's never gotten burned, but I think there's certain areas I'm not ready to focus on. It's not that they don't need to be focused on, but I'm not ready to do it. And that part is good that she knows it. I'm not ready to deal with it. It's also good that I recognize it because it's something we will deal with. But right now, in this season, I'm concentrating on finding a job. So anything that distracts me or pulls my spiritual energy down is not welcome. And so that's something that I think is communication. And I told Melissa, hey, let's not talk about this, which we're not going to talk about it. But we will once we get back into the new year, because it does need to be addressed. But right now I need to maintain my focus.
And that's why I left 3 lists, guys. Today, this week, and after. Because there's no
Girl, I
timeline
can't just
on
sit here
that.
and keep talking while you have me muted. I need to hear something. I feed off of energy.
Are you not hearing me?
Did you mute me?
Bill, she's talking. Can you not hear her?
No, I cannot hear her. I can hear
Yeah.
you loud and clear.
Wow. So I wish I could not hear her.
See, Felipe, you
I
know
wish I
what?
could
This is
hear
what
you.
happens to both of you. Just know.
How are you, Felipe? Do you know you were my number one, the person I connected with the most this year?
Oh, that's so nice of you. Thank you for sharing that.
I didn't know. I mean, I found it to be very, I don't know why. I thought it would have been like Kenneth or somebody, but it was you.
I was pleasantly surprised that Melissa Houston was mine because I have a few that I'm pretty engaged with, and she's obviously one of them. But it was nice to see that she was mine.
So why can I hear you and can't hear her?
Okay. Well, tell him I'm going to take the show for a
And what can
second
we
because I'm
hear
not sure.
on the
I-
live stream?
Bill, she's politely trying to tell you to stop talking so she can take the show back.
That's not what I said, Felipe. Dang it.
I can say whatever I want now.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to mute both of you now because I'm going to say hello to Jay because he came back.
Melissa says that she hates your magenta
Oh.
glasses.
You better stop it. You better stop it. I'm going to
I
beat
don't
you up.
even know if he has.
Somebody
magenta
go
glasses.
tell Bill Felipe's mean. Okay, I'm muting him. See, now Felipe's muted. Okay, now Jay, I want to welcome you to the stage because I want to get the show back on life coaching, but at the same time, Bill, thank you. I hope he's refreshing or something to hear me. I will say there was something on my screen and it was bothering me, so I touched it and then I left my own show and came back, which thanks StreamYard for not ending it, but I probably messed up his sound that way. All right, now let's see, where are you? Jay, you need to unmute yourself to speak. Tell me what's coming up for you. Thanks for coming to the show.
Hi, Melissa. Nice to be here. This is my first time coming on, but a little bit about myself. I'll just be short and sweet. My name is Jay. I come to you from Central Mass, and I am a disability advocate because I was diagnosed at birth with respiratory illness. I usually come on a social Saturday with Felipe, which he does an incredible job on. And actually, one of my biggest accomplishments for me was, you're asking the question, what does a life coach do? And for me, I think a life coach is someone who listens to one's challenges and listens with intention. And so, like, for me, like, I myself thought that I was a life coach because what I did was I had my first speaking engagement on leadership, and I was very much nervous at the time, and I didn't really know how to figure it out for myself. So what I did is I turned to a good life coach like Kimberly, and she helped me guide through the process. And we had this wonderful idea where we would do something on leadership and superheroes because I love superheroes. And so, she listened with intention, and she listened to this awesome idea that I had, and we planned it out so well that it turned up to be a success for me and for her as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I think I have the replay of it. And actually, a life coach doesn't have to be like, someone on LinkedIn. A life coach could be your family member or maybe a doctor.
I want to say a life coach cannot be everybody. You can have an accountability partner. That can be anybody, but a life coach is a life coach. And that's why I want to be very clear. It's not everybody being able to do this. It is not something where every leader can handle every aspect of every business structure or whatever. And some people do career development and they're great at it, but they would never touch a relationship with you because they're not good at relationships or communication. So I want to be careful because if we're giving advice out, I don't want to confuse the audience. A life coach is a life coach is a life coach. And then you can pick other partners for different things, but you pick your coach for what they're helping you with. And they're very qualified in that aspect.
Right. And at the same time, you want to make sure that the life coach that you are seeking, they don't have certain, how you call it, like emotions, like anger or frustration or something like that. You want to
I don't know if I agree with that, Felipe. I want to bring you in. I get frustrated with you all the time. And in my frustration, there's usually a lesson because you're not listening and you need to be.
Yeah, but hold on.
I mean, there's I think there's a delivery that needs to happen, but I don't think frustration is something that doesn't come up in coaching. I get frustrated when they come back and say, hey, we're not getting anywhere. And I'm like, well, did you do your homework?
But
right?
Houston, here's something about you. I don't know if you realize when you're coaching, I don't hear your frustration. When you and I are talking, I feel it. It hits me like a brick. No question about it. It's there, and you're throwing your frustration at me as a brother and a sister. But when you're coaching me, you hold back your frustration. You even come back to me afterwards, like, oh my God, this was really frustrating. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that frustrated you. And so you actually hide it, I think, when you're in your coaching mode. So I think to Jay's point, when someone's trying to coach somebody, they got to take their frustration out of it. It doesn't mean they can't feel frustrated, but in that moment.
I just have to say, guys, I will tell my clients, I am frustrated with you in this moment. I have said that out of my mouth. So that's why I'm saying, no, I get frustrated because My
It's
job,
one, yeah, it's one thing to say
my
it,
job is
another
to
thing feel
coach.
it.
But listen, let's go to football real quick. How many times have you seen a coach get angry at the team and see frustration, yet they're saying, please do your best. You can do better than this. And what they're saying and what their face is saying is different. And so I think we got to be careful because my face shows you what I mean every time. Every time. And so that's why I'm like, Jay, I hear you, but also we can't say that on my show and get away with it without me feeling like a hypocrite because my eyebrow is something that people have like memed about. My
I don't
face
think you're
shows
being
the
a hypocrite,
frustration.
Houston.
I just want to say.
I think that when you convey that you're frustrated, you're conveying it. You say, okay, this is really frustrating me because I've been trying to help you see this, and you seem to be not hearing me right now. I need you to really pay attention so I can really make sure that you hear what I'm trying to tell you.
And I agree on that, but I'm just claiming the
but-
frustration, not the anger.
Yeah, and that's what I think. That's the difference.
Yeah.
I think that we can identify now is because when you and I have gotten at it, it sounds like anger. That doesn't come across when you're coaching. You're sharing your frustration without the emotion. Maybe that's the best way of saying it.
Yep. And that's it. That's really the difference I wanted to make is I do get frustrated with my clients and I will say I am frustrated with you. So I don't want that to be said on my stage as a coach won't, because yes, they will sometimes because there is no blanket statement about anything in life. And that's the other thing I just want to be careful of is there are coaches who scream at you. There are coaches who fire you up in that way. They're on LinkedIn. They're militant. They're worse than militant, and I've blocked them. So I think it's everybody finds the coach that works for them. But some of those Navy SEALs guys, they don't do well with my bubbles, right? They're just not into that kind of thing. The eyebrow, yes. But I don't portray that online. Others will get really aggressive, scream into the mic, do their reels. They're yelling at you to get your attention. And some people gobble that up and pay 5 figures a year for it. It really depends on the client. And so I want to be careful with blanket statements. But I do think a good coach communicates whatever it is in a way that's received.
Well, one more thing, I don't mean to interrupt, but one thing I will say though is that a life coach, if someone has like an idea and they want to execute the idea, a life coach can also show improvement, show you improvements. Like, okay, you want to do this? Let's see how we can make this better. And I think that's also important because the improvements that you do, it will impact on whatever aspect of life that you're trying to focus on. So they show you improvements, and those improvements can have a positive impact on you. So that's also what a life coach also does. But thank you for having me. I was very nervous, and I'm so excited to meet my first fan. But
And
thank
I
you.
love this, Jay. I love you came. I love you shared. I think all of us have perspective. I just wanted to be careful with me because I'm not like most coaches. I definitely do the eyebrow. I do get more in your face and like, okay, no, but that's not what I'm hearing. Can I tell you what I'm actually seeing? And I will call people on what I see, right? Like if you tell me you want to lose weight, but I watch you eat a Snickers, I'm going to go, I'm watching you eat a candy bar. Right? I'm watching a candy bar go in your mouth right now. And sometimes I go, okay. And I'm like, let's math that together. And I get frustrated because I'm like, how are you doing both? But it is in the solutions. And that's something that, and sorry to leave that a booger with care, Aaron, but something that Aaron said earlier was like staying focused on the play. It is the coaching from the sidelines. It is passion. It is fun. It is in your face, but it is passion to do the thing you said you wanted to do. I become the best cheerleader, coach, partner. Hand me the ball. I'll run with it sometimes. If you don't have it, I will go through and figure out like what you should be talking about for you as your marketing person, if that's what I'm coaching you on. And it's being able to see what's needed in the moment, not necessarily like just drive the concept we said we're doing. The Venn diagram that works best is the one that moves and your circles change shape and size, and the family becomes the bigger priority on the weekends and business goes smaller. And then, every day they come in and out. It's bubbles floating in and out of perspective. And if you can shift with it, if you can be open to it, if you can hear the coaches and the people on the play who are seeing what you're not, I think you do really well. Also, David, I am so glad you're coming to the stage. David Pushkin is one of my favorite voices from audio rooms forever ago. I will never forget when you first came into the room. It always will tickle my spirit to have experienced that moment. And you said voice over. You want to be a voiceover artist, David Pushkin? I'm going to unmute you and ask you because, oh, wait, you're muted still. You got to unmute. But I want to know more about you wanting to be a voiceover artist.
Yes. Happy Saturday, all. It's something I've thought about, I just thought about it and I was like, it could be something. I hear a lot of people saying, I've got a great voice and things like that. And, I just want to I think storytelling is really important. We've got a lot of really good storytellers on LinkedIn and, stories are really important. So that's something I want to do. That's in short.
Did you know, David, that one of my clients is a voiceover artist? She's actually been at the Silva's Award for voiceover and just recently won a voiceover, a push to be highlighted for her talents. And so I feel like you should meet my friend.
Okay.
I feel like I could make this happen. And I know she's been looking for a male voice for some stuff. And so maybe we could just do some stuff for funsies to give you some stuff to put in your portfolio.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Cool.
Good. I'm glad that's taken care of. Now, why did you come on the stage originally?
Yeah, now that's done. Life coaching. Again, this is another encouraging conversation. I mean, a couple of really interesting. It's been interesting, and I think around that, it's all about growth. You need to want to be coached because if you can talk, lead a horse to water and all that other good stuff, but if you're not willing to put in the work and kind of have the the accountability piece, it's not going to work. You sometimes you've got to be able to look at yourself and have that evaluation and say, you know what, this isn't. I'm not right. I'm not doing this. And if you always think you're right, you're always going to be wrong. And that's just simply what it's about. You got to want to grow, and you have to have those supportive people around you. And support for me is a little bit different. It's not a yes person mentality. Oh yeah, you're amazing, Vanessa. You're amazing, David. No. You need to kind of make this improvement and do this and do these things. And that is what is super important. How, be open, have that curiosity mindset, be open to kind of growing, and be, admit when you're wrong, admit that there's improvement to be made, and admit that there's growth. It's when you face those fears and when you face those things that you get better. Turbulence is the price you pay when you fly high. Things are going to be messy, and it's when we get to the middle. That's what's really important. I will yield it there.
Oh
Thank
my gosh. What did you say? Turbulence is the price you pay for wanting to fly high. Somebody please type that in the comment section because that needs to be a post, David Pushkin, because my goodness. It's not an easy climb, guys. Nothing comes easy. If it comes easy, it goes easy. That's just it. And so it's short-lived, but if you really want it to stay and be something you can repeat and do consistently over time, it's going to take time. And that turbulence thing, it's no joke. When you get up there, it's not easy. That's when most people fall. And so what happens once you get to the top? Do you reach back, pull forward? Are you helping others? Or how are you growing yourself? And that's why a lot of people shift, right? We get to the top of the mountain and now it's like, where do we go from here? And we either go down or we fly. And we change course and we go to a different mountain and we go to a different place and we just evolve, right? And so, oh my gosh, David, I got to do a whole show on that. Also, I already texted my friend Annette to tell her about you because I was that excited while you were talking. I couldn't help myself. Guys, when you're passionate and you're fun and you get that motivation, just do it right then. Just do it. Because really, when you think about swimming in the pool, if you guys ever got on the diving board, if you paused, if you slowed down at all at the end and didn't just go after you climbed, you probably waited too long and probably even climbed back down. But if you just ran up there and didn't even think about it and went, you got the action. You were in the fun. You were in the passion. Before you could even think about it, you were moving. And once you're moving, it's hard to slow down. So, my gosh, David, thank you for that. Felipe, I got to tell you, this has been an exciting show, and I still have more time. What are your thoughts on what David said? Because I know you have been pursuing other things, and I'm going to call him out right now because it is Christmas, guys. And if you haven't done it, then you need to check his author page out because we share a few books in common that we co-authored together, but he also wrote children's books. And I have one in my house right now. And I know another one's coming in Spanish, might even be out. I don't know. I haven't heard. But that's a completely different part of your life, Felipe. What
It is.
What was that about?
That was about tapping into my creativity and my passion for my family, and taking on a challenge that I never thought I could because I never thought of myself as a writer. I loved to sketch and draw, but writing was not my strong point. And after co-authoring 2 books, it gave me the encouragement and the confidence to do this. And now I have my daughter's book of her story when she was young with our first dog called Miranda Max. I'm working on the second one called Brady and Lucky, the One-Eyed Cat. And the Spanish version, if I can get it done this week, now that I'm on vacation and focused on me, I'm going to send it to Nick to get it published because it's all done. I just need to reset the password for her to go in there and publish
hold
it.
on. Wait a minute. I'm sorry to interrupt. Am I having deja vu?
Yeah, I said this before.
Okay. I just, okay. I was just.
But I will say that, and this is a tradition of mine. So my entire house is decorated for the holidays. I'm a holiday nut when it comes to Christmas, and I'm also a technology nut. So every single light in every single room and every outside and inside is connected to Alexa. So when I tell her, make it merry and bright, the entire house lights up inside and out in every room and outside. Now, in addition to that, I also have a tradition of cutting off the bottom part of the trunk of the tree that we get every year and turning that into an ornament. And this ornament this year, my sister's living with us, so I had her do one side of it, but the other side of it is the first book of Backyard Adventures, Miranda and Max. So that's going to be a little bit of the tradition there. But that is thank you to people like Aaron and you and Nick and all the people that inspired me to really do something that's not traditional for a professional HR executive who has been doing it for 30 years to write a children's book. When he talks about recruitment and training and work-life balance, you all gave me the confidence to be able to do that. So thank you.
I love that. And the only reason I love that is same. The only reason I wanted to write in the book about LinkedIn with Nick was because Felipe did. I was like, heck no, my brother's not going to write on a link. What? I want to write a book about LinkedIn too. And that motivated me to go. And then the next one, I remember us having the conversation where I was like, I'm writing in legacy. Are you writing? You're like, I don't know. I'm so busy. I was like, you're writing in legacy. I'm not writing this book without my brother. And he's like, fine. And then we talk about your book. I'm like, go talk to Nick. Do it. I dare you kind of thing. Like, why not? Right. We both just push and push. And that's the alignment, guys. The Aaron Gibson, how many times have you been published now, Aaron? Where are you? Come up here and tell me, because he's part of that group too. We all push each other. Bill, if you want to come back up. I see you got booted mid-sentence.
You didn't get booted.
I certainly was not letting Felipe speak for me, but he was saying the wrong things. And I was like, tell him I didn't do it. I literally kicked myself out of my own room.
But no, the mic was the only issue there. But I do want to encourage everyone to please, go out there and put yourself out there and take that risk of trying something new, different. You gain new skill. And people like Melissa are great coaches to help you get there and not let your own beliefs stop you, because sometimes our own negative beliefs stop us from being able to achieve our goals. So I encourage y'all to do it because it has been amazing. And I'll end with this is because I put myself out there, because I talk about this. You all know I talk about communication styles all the time and communication and different styles that we have and how it helps us in personal and work life. I have someone who hired me to do a training for the 28 managers at their country club because they're having trouble with communication and they heard me talking about it. I'm sharing that with you all because you got to take that step to put yourself out there. If you're trying to grow your business, if you're trying to get yourself seen and grow your brand, it's a fear factor, but Melissa's a great coach to help you get over those fears. So I encourage you all to put yourself out there because the benefits will come.
Thank you. And I got to tell you, everybody's doing the recap, Spotify and LinkedIn, right? But I have my clients send me screenshots. We do data. I love data. We do fun and passion, but show me your numbers. And it's kind of cool when you look back at a year where anybody who's been around LinkedIn knows it got pretty dry around here compared to 2 years ago where we're over 1 million views in a year and we're just like anything we want and we could just breathe and the whole world showed up to support the post. And so when I was like, man, it's a different time. Let me go back to what I know. Let's strategize. Let me look. And I'm seeing it. It is still a climb. It is just up. Guys, this is very public. My clients could come and call me out if that's not it. But when you look at their charts, they're just going up the mountain. And what's cool is we don't work on the one thing as life coaches, right? As business consultants either. I can help with every part of the business. I've run them all from the top down. I started door to door, and then I've run it as the only person below the guy who owned it. And he couldn't do the job because he hired me to do the job. He didn't even know what the job was. He's just like, take my money and go. It was great. But that skill set is unique. And that's why, for me, life coaching is the best fit because I can help with everything a little bit. And then I hand you off to somebody else. Felipe is great at the country club. I don't want to stand in front of 20 people, but I do love to sit in a small group of 5 to 10. And I like to do actually 2 groups of 5 if I have a preference because the Venn diagrams are harder to read when you get too many overlapping at the same time. But I can take Sally and do her Venn diagram with this group and then take Sally and do it with her other team or like mix and match the teams, have multiple teams. And so it's fun to do it, but find your way. And then when you find your way, get clear on what you want to do and whatever your method is with your coach, do it. I do got to say before it goes away, Kenny, David Pushkin, this is for you. He says, oh my God, your voice sounds so damn delectable, scrumptiously, deliciously, edibly, tasty good. Your verbiage selections are superb. And then lots of little emojis. David, we got to get your voice out there. And you don't need qualifications. This is the other thing I'm going to say before I bring Aaron to the stage. I am a GED and a smile. Nobody gave me permission to show up and be a podcast host. Nobody gave me permission to go and do 8,000 hours of investment. I didn't even have to pay except a Spotify subscription, so I didn't have to listen to the ads as often, right? Guys, you can change your life your way. YouTube University is a term that I've been using for years. It is the freest way to go get any data, and the top of the top of the top are out there making content about their own product. You want to learn about Microsoft? You can go to school, you can take Excel, or you can go to YouTube and watch them teach you the hacks to get it done right now. Right now. You can take the Cliff Notes and still apply the knowledge and then use AI to gap fill, to understand the process, to say, hey, I need this function to work. And why does it function this way? And what is the purpose? And it will explain it to you. You got to be creative. It's exciting, though, when you can take your tools and make those overlap to get you where you want to go. Aaron Gibson, your tools, author, producer, soul man. What else? You're doing songwriting. What else do you do, sir?
I sew, I cook, I bake, I do lots of different little things.
He juggles behind his back with one hand.
And I stir shit, I'll be honest.
He's a pod stirrer. Oh no. So is Felipe. I feel like that's an overlapping concept for my friends. Kenny, I see you.
It's scary because, you've got a big brother now, a little brother too, so you kind of get it from both ends.
I'm gonna beat you both up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just duck and let you hit each other. It's gonna be the Three Stooges. I'm just running. Aaron, really though, how many books have you written now? Co-written.
We are at book 8 chapters as of this year.
And songs?
We are so published or unpublished because we're up to I've got about
Taylor's
145 songs, but only 130 are published right now.
And you started writing music when?
coincidentally enough, this fantastic coach of mine named Melissa Houston actually got me on board with this last December. So we are literally at a year. So in a year, 130 songs, all inspired by you because of, again, the big push for copyright and, copyright infractions and stuff like that, which I think really, I got to say, it really pushed my show and my platform and brand into a really new direction where now I'm not dependent on searching through multiple libraries of everybody else's music. I can literally tune in the music to exactly who is coming up on stage, or the feeling or emotion that I have that I want to just express or get relatable out into the world.
And guys, I got to tell you, if you're building, don't build on sand. It's something I learned, and it's a faithful statement, but there's that song, "The foolish man builds his house upon the sand." And when I learned that young, I really contemplated it, really dove into it for perspective. And I don't know why, because I was so young, but it didn't make sense to me. And so I had to figure it out. And if you build a brand that is on all of the channels that can monetize, all of the other brands are associated with you when you're doing podcasting or whatever it is, and you want to get to the masses, you don't want to build on something somebody else can unplug at any time and say, "Hey, I've removed your music." Because I'll be honest, I love content on Facebook and TikTok, but after a year or two, when you share the video, it says this has no sound. So there's motivational videos where I'm nodding along to what's said, but I don't know what they said. It's gone now. And I learned the hard way. Others have too, but you don't want to get copyright infringement, because if you monetize, you can get in trouble for that. You're not supposed to monetize somebody else's stuff. And so when you think about growing, right, that's not even how Aaron and I met. We were talking about something completely different. We were talking about me going video. I wanted to help him in whatever way. And then it ended up all of the things you see in the bubbles. It's not one thing. The strings are all attached. It's how it's connected. And so I'm proud of you. I wanted to say it. I called you out specifically because I know we're at about a year now. And guys, that's a lot of music, custom, a lot of community building, relationship building, assessing with other people, working together. My coffee chat song, Our Careers, Chaos and Coaching. Felipe, I got to say, our song is one of my second favorites now. And I know that sounds big-headed, but the vibe. Are you like me? Do you dance when you hear it every Sunday?
No, I'm definitely bumping my head to it. It's got a great beat, and it gets in my head.
And that's something that wouldn't have happened if Aaron just said, "Hey, listen, every time I hear about you guys, it's like the highway to hell on Sunday morning instead of church. We're just going to chaos mode." It wouldn't be the vibe. But he is able to capture something because he pushed himself a little bit further, and further takes everybody he knows further, which is the coolest part. Half of the stuff that my clients are working on is not for selfish reasons. Most of them want to improve their family, their business, their brand, their ripple in somebody else's life, their friends' lives, their children's lives. It's never really about them unless it's their passion that keeps them smiling when nothing else is anymore. And we figure all of that kind of stuff out, right? But then the ripple of smiles, Aaron, Felipe, like all of us, everybody who's in the comments, think about the ripple of our actions this year. I really want you guys to just take a moment and give yourself credit and reflect. And all those who aren't in the room that I've coached, you too. Like, I know you're listening. I know you guys show up. Think about what you've accomplished. Look at your data. Go to your LinkedIn, go to your Facebook, wherever you're growing, and go look at the reach. Because if you put, and I've done this with Lauren Sermon, I want to give her a shout out for this because I don't remember chicken and egg, which one of us said it first, but I remember she and I had the conversation together first. And it was, if we took our presence on social, my 15,000, Felipe's 35, Aaron, whatever, we're at like 50, 60,000 with just the people on the stage on LinkedIn. Okay. If we just talk about the ripple of just that, the free support we've given, and tried to put it into an arena, a football stadium, who could hold us as a team? Who could prepare for our followers by just opening their doors? And how big would that actually have to be? And when I was talking with Lauren about it, it was crazy when we started looking at the stadiums we would need to book to get every follower in the stand. And now not every follower sees every post, and we know that. But the point is to be there when they need it and to have the brand awareness to find us and to have somebody know there's somebody there when somebody needs it. Right? And that ripple, guys, I want to give you all credit, all of us, because we showed up. LinkedIn's telling us we showed up and how we showed up in the comments, the likes, the whatever. I know Kenny's got to be off the charts with comments from LinkedIn this year. I know they also punished him for it, so that's kind of fun. Be passionate, but slow down. Passionate, but not too passionate. And it is about balance, but it's fun to watch this happen. And so thank you guys for being part of the journey. All of you who showed up for yourselves and others, whether it was my show or somebody else's, because everybody needs the lesson. It wouldn't be on our hearts if it wasn't needed. I really believe that in my soul. There's a reason we are called or motivated or pushed to want to get it done. And when I was scrolling this morning before the show on another platform, I don't even know which one because I jump a lot. It was somebody saying your ripple could be 4 generations from now. It could be somebody's grandchild that's going to pick up the book, the statement, see the video, hear the podcast, whatever it is, and it's going to change their life. And that life is going to change more than you could ever imagine. Imagine the person who inspired Martin Luther King to be him. We don't know his name, her name, their name. I don't know who it was, but they had a ripple, right? And if you think like that, what is your ripple? What are you going to do with it? How are you going to get there? And if you're not sure what's holding you back, you don't know, get a pen, write it down, get a list together. Every time something pops up in your day that's a problem, write it down. Even if that's the only way you can figure it out. You're so busy, you don't have time. Cool. Every time the phone rings, just write down why it rang. If everybody's calling about the job ad, get somebody to answer the phone about your job ads. Get a special person hired just to get that off your list so you don't have to do it. If they're calling about payments that you're missing, set up auto pay. If the money's there and you're just forgetting, fix it, right? And it's simple stuff, guys, but those little things, the constant reminders, the 5 tickles a day to do the one thing we could have just done immediately if we did it, time management, knowing which order to do it in. Maybe you were never taught order of operations and how to make sure all the dinner comes out hot at the same time and when to boil the noodles, when to cook the meat, people who have done operations and business and streamlining and time management training can help with those little things so you can do the other things. That's the stuff you got to figure out. And we're coming into a new year. Everybody is 11 days away from making themselves a promise they're either going to keep or they're not. I just said it. You're either going to keep it or you're not. What is it going to look like? And do you even know yet? You are less than 2 weeks away from your new year. What does it look like? What's not coming with you? Do the Venn diagram. 2025, 2026. What's coming, what's not? You got to make the choice. And once you know, you can get to work. Because once you know what you got to buy at the grocery store, you don't dilly-dally, you get in and get out. If you know you're going for milk, you don't slow down until you hit the milk. Maybe you like to peruse. I'm not that girl. Once I know what I got to get done, I get focused, I get it done because I have another list I want to focus on next. If your mind's not there, let's get it there, right? If you're not feeling inspired by your friends like I feel inspired by my friends, let's get you some new friends. If you want to do something cool, say it out loud. David Pushkin said he wanted to be a voiceover artist in the comments. I happen to know people who do that for a living. I have been telling my friend she should help others become a voiceover artist, and then boom, there's one there. I also know that I have some fun ideas planned for her marketing, and I think we could use his voice for that. So if nothing else, he'll have a little bit of work under somebody who's already done it and the overlap of the communities. What an easy way to get into voiceover is just get to know somebody on voiceover and hang out with them a bit. They'll invite you into their friends groups and to events and share posts and tag you, but not unless you tell them. So get vocal, get serious, get a coach or an accountability partner or a good to-do list. Get your tickle things together. I don't care if it's an alarm that says do your to-do list. I don't care if it's 50 alarms that say, did you do your to-do list today? And When are you going to do your to-do list? And you said you wanted to do your to-do list. Be your own coach if you have to. But keep showing up. The stuff's out there for free. Go follow Felipe. Go follow Jake. Go follow Aaron. Go follow Will. Everybody's showing up to do these shows. Everybody's giving back. Figure out what works for you. Figure out what doesn't. I go into rooms, I go, I don't like something about this room. And then I identify what it is. It's not their problem. I don't even need them to change the temperature of the room for me. It's not their job to set me up comfortably in their space. I can then just shift away from the things I don't like and lean into the things I do. But I identify why it makes me feel uncomfortable. Those are the things you should be thinking about while you're doing your Venn diagram. What do you want to change and why? Who, what, where, when, why, and how? 2025 to 2026. I am going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for joining the show. I'm going to play the song one more time because it leaves me in a good mood doing so. If you need me, though, message me. I'm ready to help. We can get some stuff done. We're booking for 2026, and the next 2 people who sign up for coaching with me do not pay the $10,000 a year that I charge. I'm giving it away, practically giving it away for $2,500 a month. It's like $200 a month, guys. It's $50 a week. Yeah. Oh, and subscribe. Okay, that's creepy. Don't do that. Ew. Okay, bye, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Sunlight creeps through my window pane. Dreams of stars, now a faint refrain. Coffee brews and thoughts collide in this early morning ride. Wake up world, let's start the day. Insight flows in a bright array. Questions dance like morning dew. In this space, it's me and you. Coffee chats with Melissa. Every cup is a whisper. Conversations open doors. Spilling thoughts forevermore. Ideas bubble crisp and bright. Words take flight in morning